Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's session of Soundclash the Clampdown. Oop, I was. Why is that happening? Okay, cool. Um, right. Hello. It's been a while. I don't think we've had a session of Soundclash since August. um, yes, I have no idea what that's happening, but I like it, so it's staying there. Um, Hi everybody. We haven't had a session in quite some time, and I'm very excited for tonight's session of Soundclash the Clampdown. A lot of things have changed both in our play group and in the greater hex of Sonata 6, and we will get to some of those details in just a bit. Um, First, I just wanted to give some housekeeping notes. First and foremost, you would have noticed that I would have not done the uh, intro for tonight's game, unfortunately, um, which sucks, obviously. Um, and I really like that intro, and I would like very much for you to continue seeing it again for the session. But because things have changed, very obviously, I thought it would be um, kind of unfair to run the intro for the Clampdown this evening. Um, so we're just gonna get right into the meat of the game in just a little bit. But first, the regular housekeeping notes. Exclamation point RFTube gives you access to the YouTube channel where you can continue. Where you can find VODs of the content that takes place on this channel and watch them at your leisure, including previous episodes of Soundclash the Clampdown. Um, exclamation point of tweets gives you access to Greg's Twitter, where you can find all of the wonderfully thoughtful and erudite things that Gregory Wilson says on a regular basis. Exclamation point of Cord will give you access to the Discord channel for the Discord server for this channel, where you can interact with all of the other lovely people in this community, get updates about content that will come up later on the Twitch channel, and so on. Exclamation point Arftreon is Greg's Patreon, which will through your support we can continue to do cool things like Soundclash on this channel, for which I'm very grateful. If you recall correctly, it is that Patreon that allowed me to have the PC that allows me to continue streaming here in the first place. So your support is support of Soundclash development in its own way. So I'm very thankful for that. Exclamation point speculate as well. Gives you access to the website and the Patreon for speculatorsf.com, where you can find some of the other very cool RPG stuff that takes place on this channel, where me and Mike Underwood and Greg gather to play games with all of our writer friends, including Blades in the Dark: The Case of the Cindered Seal, which you might recognize someone from when we get into tonight's game. So your support of Speculate is very helpful in that regard. I know that we are entering the holiday season, so if I can make this one like grown up Christmas wish, it is that it would be very nice for both Greg's Patreon and the Speculate Patreon to hit $300 by the end, either $300 or uh, 30 patrons by the end of the year each. Um, that would be very, very nice. It would help us continue making cool stuff. We're very concerned, obviously, with knowing that the content that we make for you all is content that you actually like and want to receive from us. So if you are on the Patreon, please feel free to message us and let us know. These are the things that we really like and we'd like to see more of it, so we can give you more of those things. Also, exclamation point BLM gives you access to, it gives you information on the Black Lives Matter movement. I have been hesitating to say a lot of things about a lot of things, so suffice it to say that the present moment that we live in has reinforced that what I believe is the ultimate value of the Black Lives Matter movement ultimately is the understanding of the kinds of spaces in which justice abides in the world. And that means often also being observant of the fact that if you are in alignment with justice, there will be people who will seek to destroy that as well. And the support of the Black Lives Matter movement is the support of the work to undo that kind of injustice, no matter who it affects or how, precisely because it affects marginalized people, black people especially, in certain ways that are unavoidable, but that can be avoided when we visit justice at its root. So, please support the organizations that you find in that link. Please be willing to read and question and find ways to engage with those communities as often as possible, because I do think that that work is important. And of course, exclamation point, help now. As we enter the holiday season, it becomes infinitely more important for us to be aware of how we feel and how other people feel in these particularly stressful moments, and be able to reach out to people when they need help and reach out to people when we need help. That's been equally more important for me in the last few weeks as well. So I hope that if anybody else needs those resources, or knows anyone who would benefit from those resources, or you would benefit from those resources in order to find ways to be more available for those around you, please visit that link and use that information as necessary. Um, so, without further ado, I think we should get right into the game. So I'm going to start clicking some buttons as I look up into the heavens at my friends, who I'm sure are having this very wise and erudite conversation that I just cut off, and I have no idea what the context is, but I feel like I have just missed out on learning something absolutely radical all of a sudden. As I now. Okay, I'm glad that I missed that then. But let's meet all of our friends here. Say good evening to the new roster of a cordial eclectic bandmates. Please say hello to everyone in chat. I'm very oh god. Um, I'm so very excited for I'm so very excited for today's game. Oh my god! I hope I didn't forget to do the thing. Um. Cool. I'm briefly aware of audio things that may have. But everything seems to be fine now. So cool. With that, I would like all of you to please let all of the lovely people in chat know who you are, what you do, and who you will be playing this evening, starting with Victor.
Hi, guys. I'm Victor. I use he and they pronouns. I am a podcaster, writer, designer, and performer today. And I play Ava Peron, the beat.
Nice. Next, Amr.
Hi, I'm Amr Amaraz. I use any pronouns except he. I do a lot of things, except none of them, because currently I've been moving across the continental United States. So there isn't really much I've been doing besides that. Yeah, I write nominally. I do actual plays nominally. I make jokes sometimes. That's it. That's all I got.
And who are you playing this evening?
Oh, right. Nakhmat and that character who is totally having a normal one.
Of course. Next, Katie.
Hello, hello. My name's Katie, card-carrying comedian, actor, and writer. I play games sometimes, and I make jokes frequently. I've been doing a lot of stuff on Not the Online, so that no one will ever be able to see it unless I so choose, which is currently not now. And for tonight, for you and the audience and my bandmates, I'm playing River Song, no relation to any sci-fi characters you may know and love, and she is the rhythm of this band. Moi.
And last but not least, the very newest member of the Accordial Eclectic crew, Iori Kusano. Would you please like to introduce yourself?
Happy time zone chat. I think plenty of you remember me from Blades in the Dark, also with Brandon. I am Kusano Iori. They, them pronouns. Find me on Twitter at Iori Kusano. I write, I podcast, sometimes I game. I shitpost a lot. This morning, the the episode of Absolute Territory that Brandon and I guested on dropped, so go check that out. We are talking about Kamen Rider, and it's excellent. I am playing Alice Ishikawa. She, her pronouns. Alice is having a rough time.
Indeed.
At least
Alice
one of us is
is-
honest about that.
And
I'm
Alice
fine.
is another melody. Let's see how this works mechanically.
Yes, this is where I learn that this is actually going to break the game, but I highly doubt it. So yes, I'm very excited for you to be the new fourth member of our crew. Of course, Nathan Blades is no longer with us because of work and life commitments, but Oliver Hoshizora will always be in our hearts. And is with the melody, with the frequency now, just enjoying what it's like to be in music heaven, wherever that is. So I'm very excited to see where the story goes from this point, which is where we last left off in Soundclash Clampdown, was immediately on stage of the second bout of the Sonata 6 clashes. The Accordial Eclectic crew had just done arguably one of its very best performances in quite some time. Was like bringing the house down. And it would so happen that, for reasons still relatively unknown, that would lead to Oliver having this transcendent experience where a being from another dimension, very fairly presumably the dimension from which the frequency hails, descended onto the stage and took Oliver up to wherever it came from and left, and caused a great deal of very physical carnage in the space as a result, which led to that the rest of that night's events being cancelled, and as of that point, there has been no word about the rest of the bouts of this season's clash. It has been postponed for, as of this moment, several weeks. No one has heard yet whether it's an official postponement or it's just been cancelled. They just got a kind of run-of-the-mill social media post from a company called Lightspeed Promotions that said, until further notice, we are still considering the possibility of hosting the rest of these clashes. Please stay tuned for further updates, and haven't heard back from them for several weeks. In that time, a lot of things have happened in Sonata 6. The police have gotten a lot weirder about music. They've gotten much more physically aggressive about people performing in public spaces, a thing that they never used to do before, but are doing now. They like stopping people on the side of the road and asking them what they're listening to in their headphones now. And a lot of that is telling people that they're not supposed to listen to previous performances of those last two bouts. Some of those videos are now illegally mirrored on Discord, but everybody knows where to find it. But for the most part, the police are getting very, very brutal for no real reason, while still trying to stay within their own reasonable realm of accountability, such that they don't make too much of a scene, which is not good, which doesn't actually work out well for them, but they try. There have also been a strange string of violent attacks on other industry leaders in Sonata 6. A handful of executives and promoters have been arriving at the hospital with strange wounds. whenever someone asks them what happened, they tend to not say anything. Um, there have been news reports of like people's entire houses being encased in large blocks of ice, or like very strange, like uh, not very easily explainable physical phenomena taking place in their homes, like plants starting to grow in corners of like pure concrete, um, like weird stuff like that happening. But whenever someone asks those homeowners what happened, no one says anything. Um, and of course, since that last clash, um, the members of a cordial eclectic, such as they are, um, haven't actually kept in very close contact in quite some time. They haven't met in person as regularly as they used to. Um, they haven't asked. They haven't actually like sat down and had a genuine conversation about the thing that happened. They just kind of went their separate ways and hoped that bad things didn't follow them after that performance, waiting to at least hear how the rest of the clashes will go before they made a functional decision. And in order to get a sense of how that went, we're going to follow some of you individually, starting with River. River, where are you right now?
River is in her apartment in the dark. Probably.
In the dark? What time is it? What time of the day is it right now?
Let's see. A time when the sun is still out. Is it the summer right now? No, there's school happening.
Yeah, there's school. This is like, I want to say this is like later in the year-ish. Like, what would be October-ish?
Okay. I'm gonna say it's 5 p.m. before a dinner rush. Otherwise, she should have to go help do deliveries. And she's in the dark because the blinds are closed. But there is a lamp on in the corner. And
Okay.
she's in her little music nook.
What have you been doing while you were at home?
She's been collecting her assignments from school and then finishing them with no aplomb, I think is the right word. Trying to write music. There is Oliver's Zodiac notebook that fell after the rapture.
If I'm not mistaken, you have the notebook and Nakmat has Oliver's pin.
I believe so.
Yes.
River would have taken the notebook though, and that's sitting on her like keyboard, but she has not had the courage to open it. And there's a lot of like wadded up like sheets of music in the trash, and like crossed out music because none of it's good anymore. And at this very moment, all you hear are like minor chord type of musics on the fiddle. Not much going on. Oh, and she she's not looking good. She does not look like she has been keeping up with any sort of hygiene routines that one should do to look not bedraggled and dragged out of bed.
I mean, okay, it's been several weeks. Have you eaten? Have you been regularly eating 3 meals a day every day for several weeks?
No.
Have you left home in the last 3 days?
Yeah, because she has to go to work.
Well, for
but
work.
The thing is, you can pick up work deliveries silently and give them away silently. But River's not getting a lot of good tips right now.
Yeah, getting a lot, like, you've been noticing a lot of your uh reviews on the app that people use for those deliveries are like,
Mm-hmm.
is this kid sick? Send someone else. This person frightened my child. um, it's a lot. It's a lot.
If she grew a beard, she would have one of those 5 o'clock shadows that men
Yeah.
and bearded folk often have when they
Uh-huh.
don't shave.
Um,
But she does not.
cool. I
Her
would.
teachers are kind of worried about her probably because she's not doing the group assignments that they told her to try and work towards doing because she's not talking to anyone. She's got a
Mhm.
lot of messages on red
Yeah,
in
like
the
you
chats.
have at least one email from a professor who is like, um, dear Miss Song, I am actually very impressed that you decided to do this entire group project by yourself in a matter of days. But it is a group project, and several of your team members are actively asking you why you are not answering your phone. Can you please speak to me as soon as easily available? Yeah, you're going through it, as they say. I would like you
Not
to.
having a normal one.
I would like you to roll 2d12s for me.
Oh my god, roll 20. Okay. I remember how to use roll 20. I did it. 6 and 3.
Okay, you know, things are good. Um, uh,
Mood.
yeah. You are um playing that fiddle. Like, there's a point where you kind of forget that like you're in this weird kind of mental position where you forget that you're playing music. Your hands just kind of move.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that you're hearing sounds like the kind of melancholy that you're feeling, and then you settle on it and you realize, oh wait, I'm playing this because I'm trying to write a thing. Yep, it's not actually good. I thought it was good, it's actually bad.
Yep.
And when that happens, you hear a knock on the door.
That startles a old coffee that was on a table and it spills on her. And
It's old,
she's
so it's cold, so at least you didn't hurt
yes.
yourself. Nice.
Yes. But it is staining.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's startled out of the song. She looks at the sheet for a split second and mentally notes, better crumple that one up and throw it away. And kind of does like a brush off,
Mm-hmm.
throws on a sweater that was on a chair so that you can't see it as much, and opens the door.
um, on the other end of the door, you see your father and your sister.
Baba.
What's your sister's name, just to be sure?
Uh-oh. Let me just check my notes to make sure I didn't give her a name already.
I also cannot recall if you had
Okay.
already named your sister, but I don't think so.
I did not. So let's say Mary. I won't regret it. I probably will.
So Mary and your father are looking at you like with like this kind of unique silent worry where you aren't sure whether they're judging you or whether they're afraid. Like, you have no idea what feeling they're having right now. And in your sister's hand is a very large casserole dish covered in foil. And your father says, hey, we just figured we'd come over and talk if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. You didn't call. I opened the door, knowing that they would inevitably come in anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a mess in there.
They start walking in. Um, Mary goes, we did call. We called several times, actually. I tried calling maybe 4 times this afternoon. Are you? Where's your phone? Are you? And like you can tell that she wants to ask a question, but she doesn't want to say anything. So she just kind
Oh,
of.
it's charging. Sorry. My methods are that I don't look at it while I'm writing.
Oh, so you're working? Is this? Are we interrupting like school things? Cause we could.
No, don't worry about it. It's all
Okay.
good. Here, give me that. Give me that.
Okay, and she
Takes it
puts
to warm it up.
the casserole dish in your hand, and you hear it go. You hear it start sloshing inside. Whatever is in this casserole dish shouldn't feel this plasmid as you are holding it.
Actually, is this like a fridge jello situation or like an oven thing?
I mean, I made it. I just figured you would need something to eat. I made cobbler like this. Like maybe 6 hours ago. It should be fine to put in the fridge. It doesn't. Nope. If this is cobbler, it has real peach juice in it, and you don't know why. But yeah, it's in your arms now.
Okay. She just preheats the oven and puts it in anyways. Also, Katie legitimately doesn't know what a cobbler is.
I am not going to define a thing that I have not eaten for you.
It's like a weird white dessert. It's like sorry for everybody in the it's like if you take a pie and you just sort of like make it sad.
Oh my god.
Excusez-moi, 'tis deconstructed pie. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.
Deconstructed pie. At least one person I'm sure is in this chat going, why are you being so mean?
So is it like a crumble?
It's like a crumble,
like
but the
finished.
top has more structure.
There is a continuum from a crumble to a cobbler that is really just solid to plasmid. But even this is still not supposed to be this soft or this squishy or this wet. Like everything about this is wrong and improper. But you put it in the oven, very fine. And your dad, you overhear your dad like in the background going, "Why is this place so dark? By the way, I don't know if you have a process or anything, but like, all of the lights are off."
Oh, well, when it was day, it was fine, and then I lost track of time. You know, your eyes just to the light.
Yeah, but that's not good for
Baba.
your eyes. And he starts turning on every light in your apartment. You have to take care of your eyes. Like, you're young. You shouldn't you're already wearing glasses. I don't want them to be thick like mine. And then like he gestures at his own glasses are like 3/4 of an inch thick.
Yeah. Yes, Baba. Do you wanna? We can go out into the city if you want. There's no need to, like.
I mean, if you're
my process.
if you're
is in
working,
the
we don't
room.
want to get in the way of. We just wanted to check on how you were doing. We haven't heard from you in a while. The hex has been a mess lately. We just wanted to know that you were okay.
Yeah. School's going good. School's going good. I'm getting good grades. The teachers like my work. I've been doing extracurriculars. Have you seen the Soundclash? It's been postponed for a little bit, but I was in a band. We were playing it.
Your father sighs very loudly. And like you see your sister put a hand on his shoulder and then turn back to him, like, yeah, we heard about the thing. That's kind of why we wanted to, like, are you are you okay? I heard that was a mess. You didn't get hurt or anything like that, did you? I've
No,
been meaning to
no, I'm
ask.
fine.
You sure? 'Cause that
Yeah. Um, it's just, that's how the music industry works. You need to go out, put yourself out there, and hopefully you get noticed by the agents, and that's just what kind of snowballs you. It's different from business. It's different from business like Mary, or you get like an internship, and then a lot of the time that's just kind of the job that you can stick with and be successful in. It's not as stable, but it's what I want to do.
your father like takes a step toward you, like this very strong step toward you, right in front of you, and goes, "But no one dies doing business, River. No one gets like literally ascended into heaven doing business. Like that was."
Well,
And
because
he turns to his sister and like they mouth something to each other. Mary is very upset. In like the kind of, I am very upset at you because you are doing the fatherly thing when I told you not to do the fatherly thing. Like you've seen her do this before, where like whenever your parents like haggle at a supermarket or something like that, the kind of please don't do that, you're making a scene. Um and then Mary turns to you and says, "He doesn't mean that. We're worried about you. It's not about." And he cuts her off and goes, "No, I'm worried about the clash too. You sure you didn't just want to do something else? Like, you're still new. Like, this is still you're still early in university. If you wanted to switch over to like." Like I,
early in university, it's not like I'm trying to be a doctor, which can take 10 years. This is
But I'm
I'm
saying you still
almost done.
have 10 years.
I don't want to do anything else.
You
But Mary wanted to go into business, and I know that was good that it aligned with what you wanted, but it wouldn't be a match for me. I'd never enjoy being in business.
Nobody enjoys being in business. Um Over his shoulder, Mary is actually like mouthing, "I did enjoy business quite a lot." Um but your father continues, "What you're doing is dangerous. This magic business, y- you could have died. And for what? For the chance, for the idea of what? Making it big? Of becoming like what? The next
Success. Isn't that
what did they call that one woman who passed away however long ago? Mickey
Minnie
Green or
Blue?
whatever her name was. You want to be the next? You want to be the next her? Like you're hot one moment and then they just forget who you are.
it? I can be careful. You don't think I know that? It's just they're in the public eye. You don't not all musicians disappear in plane crashes or
And
get sucked into the sky. Like it
and
takes training. You just you can be careful.
and and what was the excuse for that night then? Were you being careful when a god or an alien or whatever just up and Mary literally grabs your father by one shoulder and shoves him away, and then like takes your hand in her hand and goes, "Don't listen to any of that. I'm here for you. How are you?"
I would like to hug her.
She hugs you very, very tightly.
I hug her very tightly with a lot of emotion. Really just sink into that hug. I'd like to roll for hug.
I will make you roll to. I will make you roll to determine whether you cry or not, but I'm not going to do you that. And like in this embrace, Mary just whispers, "I was very scared. I don't know anything about this music shit, but that was a lot. You, you're the only sister I have, you know."
You too. I
And
miss
if I-
you.
And if
You've been so busy.
right, and I've been busy with this one, and like you can feel her gesturing towards your father, and she continues, and if I lose you, then it's just me and the folks, and you know how they can be when it's just one of us.
Oh, I know. I know way more than you how they could be.
Right?
You're clearly the favorite.
Don't do that. We're here because we're genuinely worried about you. He's bad at saying it.
He means well. He just wants us to. You know, be able to carry on after he's gone. But it's too. He doesn't see what I see or what
And I want
or
to
the future.
and she parts from the embrace and looks you dead in the eye and says, "And that's why I'm here. We haven't heard from you in days after that. I thought that something happened and we wanted to be sure. And now you look like something happened. You look like you've been seeing a ghost every day for the last 3 weeks."
I've been safe, been inside. Isn't that enough?
No. Are you okay?
No. You want to go to dinner?
I do. Behind her, your father goes, "I don't trust the cobbler anyway."
Who made it?
I did.
You're
your
the
sister-
worst cook in the family.
Oh my god!
Mom didn't pass any of the recipes to you because she knew.
I thought I was trying something new. I saw it online. I thought it would have been a nice.
Oh, you
sweet
guy
thing
is
to-
so simple, and you didn't even buy the right chicken for it.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna eat then. We're gonna find a good place and we're gonna order. Okay, let's get dressed. We're gonna wait for you. Get ready, and we'll go and find up anything you want, and we will order anything you want.
Sorry,
Okay.
it's late, but I know a dim sum place that's open all day.
And Mary hugs you again.
I hug her back. I gesture for Dad to come in because I want to hug him because he loves me still.
He kind of like idly waddles over, like he's looking very weirdly at the both of you, and you like give me. I want to know if you notice something. Give me a roll.
Oh no.
What do you think that would?
what-
What do you think that
what
should
die?
be?
Well,
I'm inclined to assume that it would obviously be study,
study. I love to study.
which you have. So that would be a D12 or a D20 plus 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Plus 4. I have 2 dots in it now.
Ah, right, cool.
Okay.
So what will you be rolling?
I mean, this. What are the stakes? Does it matter?
You're you are trying to. I want to know if you idly discover something about why your father is hesitant in this moment.
Okay.
Your position is controlled and your effect is standard.
I mean, I think I would just roll a d12.
Yeah.
Not ready to blow up the building with my amazingly awesome study roll. 11.
Yeah, 11 is good enough to still notice. So, your father, he very slowly, very idly makes his way over to this hug. And you're like, why? Why is he hesitating? And it's just before you, like, look up to see why he's hesitating, you know that he's just going to say something like he thinks is weird and amusing about the fact that you are hugging in this moment. It's like, y'all, I've never seen y'all hug like this before in my life. It's like, this looks weird. I didn't know that you all actually cared about each other. And he
Pay
thinks
attention.
and he thinks that he's being amusing in this moment, but instead, Mary just grabs him by the shoulder and just drags him into the hug. And you all just kind of settle in this hug for some beats. And as we fade out of that very heartwarming moment, we fade into Ava being a fucking badass. The last 4 or 5 days of the news cycle in Sonata 6 have been more or less the police do something weird in your district, and you have been present to tear them a new one for it. You have developed a reputation in this area for not taking shit. And I mean, people in your apartment complex already understood that you were essentially the mother of the building. But it's kind of spread out now because
I have time now.
yeah.
Because I got fired from my teaching job.
So the very briefest of flashbacks are you in the principal's office at Sonata 6 High. The principal, the vice principal, and the head of your department are all there just like uniquely chewing you out. Like, we're not even going to really like settle on this moment very much. We just need to know that the montage is these three people who are all very curiously much shorter and smaller than you are, for the most part, like trying to talk down to you in their office, but mostly emotionally failing because you refused to sit down that day. And they're like showing you multiple mirrored versions of the clash
Of
that
my
you were
friend
in,
getting raptured?
of your
Of my
friend getting
friend getting
raptured,
Yeah, no, that doesn't go well.
of the original video of you poking that cop in the chest that one time. At some point in the interim, like other people on Discord, the large scale social media app Discord of this universe, have been not only resharing that or that original like interaction with the police, but as the police have become like more deliberately hostile in the area, they've like a lot of people on Discord, especially former students and people who have lived in your apartment complex, have accidentally made a hashtag for you.
Oh, no.
Hashtag where's Miss P when you need her. And like showing like some of the most like gruesome things that the authorities have done since the clash has ended. Like you can't even really like mention most of the terrible things that have happened in polite company. But Like people have
Oh,
been
but Ava's not polite, so it's great. It's fun.
but like the vice principal is like, you're drawing too much attention to this school. All of this needs to stop. You need to nip this in the bud right now. You need to make a statement on social media saying that you denounce all of this vigilante justice stuff. But no one's making any posts about actually interacting with the police otherwise. They're making posts about why someone should and why they're inspired by the fact that you had, but they're afraid to do so. But they're even blaming that on you. And before you even get to put a word in, you're already out of a job. And that was like several weeks ago. And since then, you've taken that time to find ways to give back to the community. You've joined like a local farmers co-op. You've suggested to some neighbors that they put some like community fridges nearby so folks can stock it up with things that they have in surplus for other people who might not necessarily have something that they desperately need. But um, most of all, cops have been trying to knock some heads in your district, and you've been getting in their faces about it. And today, like several days after like a particularly noteworthy altercation that has already appeared on Discord, you are now being interviewed by two television reporters. Like they
I'm
literally just
definitely in the
kind of,
process of trying to do something, though. I'm definitely in the process of trying to do something.
yeah, they just kind of appear um like you hear a knock on your apartment door, and Andrea opens. Um, and before you even get an opportunity to ask who it is or say anything about how you don't want to be disturbed, uh, Andre just like comes running into your room and goes, "Ma, there are two reporters outside to talk to you. You should," and like is dragging you by your forearms to the door.
Yeah, Ava is like on a call about community organizing, and she's just like, "All right, hold on. Andrea, wait. Okay, we'll talk later." And she like hangs up, and she has gone from like teacher chic, like she has dug through like her old clothing. Like she is wearing like a leather jacket that's got like spikes on the shoulders so people don't grab her when she's like running up on the police, and like steel-toed like combat boots. She looks like she's ready to like get into a fight, and she's just like, who are you?
Hi. You don't need to know too much about us. We're just here from the local TV station. We just wanted to do a very small piece on you and your work. You've been making a lot of waves here recently. Um, Andrea is on the other side of the open door, just uh, like, kind of adamantly waving her arms, like trying to cheer you on to do this interview because she can tell that you don't want to. Um. We won't take barely 10 minutes of your time. We just wanted to talk a little bit about your work, why you've decided to, undertake this mission in this area. Not a lot of people are doing this kind of outreach in this space, so we just figured we'd ask some questions about it.
I'm in. Have a seat. I'm nothing if not a gracious host.
Cool. Thanks. So it's two young, fit-looking white men. They look like if you had just.
I rescind the come in order offer.
Oh
Hold on.
Lord. They look like if you had seen them anywhere else, you would have assumed that they weren't actually like this wasn't their job. You would assume that they had just come from the gym or something like that. One of them
Cats and
gestures.
news. They must be stopped.
One of them gestures to the other. You find a place to set up a camera. I trust you, and starts like walking in and taking a just looking at the entire place. This is a very nice apartment.
You can set the camera up on the kitchen table, and that's where you will sit. And you will sit next to him and interview me across the kitchen table, and you will not look.
Okay.
Did I cut out?
Very briefly, yes.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely. We will set up by the kitchen table, no problem. And the other guy just like starts taking things out of his backpack. He puts down a very large camera. He takes out the tripod, looks at it, looks at like your nearby kitchen counter, decides that it's a well enough vantage point to get for the interview, starts like tinkering with his settings. The other guy goes, "Do you mind if I sit down for this, or I don't?"
Yeah,
wanna...
we can sit down. Just don't sit in that chair. And Ava is going to gesture to the chair where Oliver used to sat when we were doing like practice. If you sit in that chair, I will throw you out my door.
Duly noted. Not that chair then. Sits on the other side of that chair then. He turns to his cameraman to get the cue. Okay, and we're recording in 3, 2. Right. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna ask a couple of questions. We will edit this together with the rest of our B-roll and stuff. We got some stuff from the internet. It'll be fine. So first question: what triggered you to get into this public outreach work in this space? I think you froze again.
Yeah, I did. Sorry. There's a rainstorm that just started outside, so it's... Okay.
Hopefully it won't be too much of a problem. But
yeah. All right. So what triggered you to get into?
Yeah, what triggered you to get into this public outreach work?
A young man in our building was taken away with no evidence by the police.
Right.
After an anomaly incident.
We are aware of that. Apparently he's still presently being held without trial for some particular breach of the Music Act in this hex. We haven't heard much more about it. It's very unfortunate. But I'm kind of curious as a result. You've been getting into a lot of very public altercations with the police and other authorities in this hex.
Is that what they're calling it? That's very funny. As a citizen, I think that we all have the right to speak with our officers. That they're putting it as an altercation. I feel like they might be. I feel like if you put it as an altercation, doesn't that mean that the police are incompetent in holding back a citizen? I wouldn't want to speak that way about our police officers. I've spoken with them very often lately, but I'm sure that they wouldn't note it as an altercation, or else they would have lost each.
Oh no, you briefly cut out again. I'm so sorry.
How long did I cut out for? How long did I cut out for? I was very proud of that.
It was only a few seconds, but that was really cool, and I really liked everything that you were saying.
TLDR.
It was only the last couple words.
If it was altercations, they would have lost each one. So
yeah. So the interviewer gestures to the cameraman. That's gonna be some good stuff when we put that in. And then turns back to you. So what do you think is the most important kind of work that the community in general should be doing in this at this time?
There are too many people looking to crack down versus build up in our community. There are certain factors at work here with people who are incompetent and should try a little harder to actually be a part of their community instead of just shutting it down. I'm not going to name names. but maybe losers should try to win instead. And so, outreach is outreach is the most important. Building people up. This hex has gotten so violent suddenly. You would think that people are trying to just shut things down instead of make a community that works.
Okay. And last but not least, do you have any words for your fellow neighbors in the hex? What would you like to tell them?
There are more of us than there are of them. And the reason that they're afraid is because they know that. But we forget often.
He gestures back to his cameraman again. God, this is fucking gold. But I think we got everything that we needed. You can wrap up now. Thank you so much, Miss Perron. We will give you. I mean, this will probably air. I doubt we'll be ready for the 7 o'clock, but we might be ready for the 11 o'clock, and we will give you, like a message or something about that when it goes live, so you can watch it yourself. Thank you so very much.
All right. If you want news an hour after it airs, I'm sure there'll be police around the building, so you could be ready for that too.
We've been trying to get. Our producer doesn't want us to actually film direct police engagement. I mean, the very obvious reason that he gives us is obviously this camera costs more than my student loans, and I don't want to die. But
that's fair.
I mean, if I'm gonna be real with you,
I just wanted to make you aware of a news story that will happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm gonna be real with you. I used to not care about this shit. I could have easily been like any other one of the reporters that passes through this space and go, the thing that matters right now is I'm gonna get the most dramatic quote that I can possibly get from you, and that's gonna make the rest of the news cycle. But I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think I can do the work that you're doing, but I think that it's fucking important. I think that it's rad as hell. I think just like some of the stuff that I've seen on Discord alone, you're making waves in this place, and hopefully if enough people follow suit, maybe we can stop being like we were however many years ago when the frequency first started, you know?
You know, it only takes the thought of rebellion to get it started. So, you may not feel like you're ready now, but build up your resources.
I mean, maybe this news story is the thing that we need. But again, I will let you know when it airs, and you will see that later tonight. Thank you so very much for your time. And they just kind of get out. They just leave without much note. Andrea kind of emerges from like a blind spot somewhere else in the apartment and goes, "That was rad, huh?"
It's Andrea, there's going to be police here later. It's scary.
You say that like they're never here, ma.
Yeah, but we don't want them here because of me, or hurting anyone because of me.
Right, fair. But like that's what people do to like symbols of rebellion when they're afraid, right? So it's a sign that things are changing, and I think that's kind of neat. I think that it's cool that my mother is a superhero. I'm allowed to say that, aren't I? I think that's rad. And you haven't gotten hurt yet. You were. I mean,
I got through a divorce with your father. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I can survive most of this shit.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't need to tell you that to take care of yourself, because you're taking care of yourself just fine. You're doing like, you know what I find so funny about all of this. The reason why I think that this is so cool, Ma. You're doing the thing that you told me I'm never supposed to do. Talk back to my elders. Talk back to my authorities. Talk back to the thing. You're doing that. And you're fucking kick ass at it.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if from going forward, because that was, if you ever think I'm wrong, call me on it.
Will do. With that in mind, I think that my curfew hours should change given the circumstances of the Hex in general. I think that it's only fair that maybe 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning should be suffice for my, getting back at the apartment at a certain... Yeah, right? You think so too? I think so too.
Hold on. You know what?
I'm just kidding. Kidding.
Oh, well, I was about to say, if you can show me how good you can fight now, I might be willing to increase that maybe to 12.
I mean, I've been doing that self-defense thing that you told me about a couple weeks ago, but I don't think I can like deflect a police baton yet.
All right then. Maybe not too late then, because I don't want you to run into these people.
Yeah. I mean, things kind of suck now. Not a lot of cool things to do in the Hex anymore, but it's not fair that I'm supposed to live in fear because they tell me, right?
Correct. It's not fair.
So if I want to see a movie with my friends, we should go and see a movie with my friends, even if police are going to be here.
Yes.
I know that in my head. It sounds radical as fuck, but I've never been in a fight before. This is still kind of scary, you know?
I know. It's supposed to be scary for me. And so that's why you can always call me. And I will always come running.
Right? I get that. I know that. But like, Dean's still in jail and they haven't even said like what they arrested him for. They kicked you out of school.
I would have quit anyway.
Yeah, they sucked. But like, I don't know. I'm very. It's very hard for me to say that my mother impresses me, but it's harder to say that I think that I'm still scared. You know? Of what's gonna happen next.
I know. You impress me, right?
Really? How? What did I do?
Yeah. I don't think that I would be as brave as I am if I know I wasn't doing it for you.
If I were not a teenager, I would cry right now, and she hugs you.
Yeah, Ava just hugs her really tight and is just like, all right, go to a movie with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Everything will be fine here.
You sure?
Yeah. If anything, I have friends I can call.
Okay. And we fade from that scene to check on Nakhmat. Where are you and what are you doing?
Hello. I'm having a perfectly normal day, going to class, doing research. What do you mean I don't attend those classes? That's not a problem. Anyways, yeah, that's what I've been up to. Continuing research on the noise as if nothing has changed, except, everything has changed, and I'm definitely including that in my research.
Quite a lot has indeed changed. Which is why I want to ask, when was the last time that you have been to your research cave.
Oh, like every day.
Nice. Cool. Because now we're going to get into some shenanigans.
Shenanigans, you say? I am here for the shenanigans.
Um, so we're just going to, like, briefly flash back to you at this cave, let's say earlier this afternoon. Like, just before those previous scenes. You have been studying like comparisons between noise information that you've already gathered from like independent events that you've witnessed in your own previous research and whatever you could have gathered data wise from that last clash.
Yep.
It turns out because you have multiple multiple phone camera vantage points of that event, plus the digitally televised live stream, plus the company's own recording. You have like various visual entry points for the observation of that event, so you can gather a handful of very significant pieces of information from it if you wanted to compare that to the information that you have right now. It would just require a roll.
I can gladly give you a roll.
What role do you think that would be?
Either study or tinker, probably, depending on if it's just about examining data more, or if the bigger concern is the tools and instruments that I have to work with.
Ah, okay. So, you will have a better chance of gathering like more functional information with Tinker, because the difference
Cool.
between those two tests would be you just observing the video and drawing inferences based on other visual information that you've gotten from your other data, or
Yep.
attempting to replicate that experience.
Yep.
Replicating the experience would be Tinker, study would be just observing those videos.
Yep. Cool. So, one thing I'll note is that one of my more recent advances, I took the ability to take a special ability from another sheet. And I took from the Harmony sheet, physical talent. You're innately talented in one of the following: machines, hacking, costume design, something physical and intricate. I was hoping I could make it specifically noise machines.
Ah, as in you have there. This is mechanically you becoming more adept at
Yes,
creating the
specifically,
apparatus that observe
and
noise.
I'm thinking specifically that has to do with studying whatever these videos, studying the pin that I got from Oliver, which is what, because it's from Oliver's sheet narratively, you know.
Cool, nice.
So does that affect this roll?
I would say so. In fact, right. So, how many dots do you have in Tinker again?
3.
Good lord, 3 dots.
Yes. Tinkering is one of the things I'm scary at.
Cool. So your position is controlled, and your effect is great.
Perfect.
And you can roll a d12 or a d20 plus 6.
Okay. That's a 17.
That's just at the edge of this being potentially problematic.
Yep, but we didn't go there, and that's
Good.
okay by me.
This is actually very, very good for you, because you're going to learn something very, very interesting right now.
Okay.
So you're observing So you construct these machines, you try to replicate as much as possible within your control of the variables that you witness between that performance and other noise anomalies that you've witnessed. Because as far as you're visibly concerned, as far as most other people are visibly concerned, um, you've never, like, this is not a noise anomaly. It's a musical anomaly, but it's not noise. No one
Right.
associates it with the, because those things exist in different ways. They look different. They feel different. Um, Even though both were functionally catastrophic. Um, and in the process of attempting to mechanically recreate the experience of that performance,
Yep.
you start noticing something very unique.
Okay.
So, one of the reasons why you prefer this cave in particular is because the acoustics of the space allows it to very easily generate noise phenomena whenever you need to run a particular test.
Sure.
So it stands to reason that any other auditory phenomena should be equally resonant in this space.
Yep.
The good thing about that is it means that anytime you want to run an experiment, it's not going to be difficult for you to create variables. The bad part is sometimes spontaneously a noise thing will happen because you dropped a spoon on a sharp stone one
Yep.
evening.
Yep.
So you are acutely aware of the fact that every once in a while a noise phenomenon will take place in a very small corner of the cave that, unless it is
Right.
big enough to be noticeable, is not worthy of experimentation, but is happening almost all the
Right.
time. And one of the things that you idly notice is, as you are setting up the machine, as like things are now starting to get into motion,
Right.
some of the idle ticking sounds of some of those gears as they begin moving starts triggering like some small noise portals in the back of the cave.
Okay.
And then the machine starts moving in earnest. And at the center of all of your testing apparatus, you see this very small, like, almost silvery kind of globe form, like, right above all of those instruments. And it starts growing just a little bit and turning semi-translucent, like you can see all the way through it. But even while you can see all the way through it, it looks like it's made out of silver or like it's inlaid with pearls or something like that. And it starts growing and growing until it makes this very, very small portal. As you notice that that portal is growing, you notice that the like minor noise anomalies that you noticed elsewhere in the cave start like fidgeting. They were very, very small, like maybe like a couple of microns big. So small that it took a great deal of focus and a lot of light to be able to notice them in the first place.
Right.
But now that this silver thing is appearing in front of all of your apparatus, it's doing that. Like, you know how in video games when something glitches and suddenly all of the limbs are like moving to the edge of the skybox of the
Right.
stage that they're in, and just flinching all over the place.
Right.
You see those things do that all over the room, and that's when you notice that there were even more anomalies than you noticed the first time.
Oh.
And like there are 3 or 4 of them just like the edges of the cave, just doing their thing. Like going wild in the edges of your periphery. And
Right.
then they just start like fading away. This like as they keep moving, they start turning almost like smoke and start fading off into the distance, and now you can no longer see them. Your
Oh.
instruments can now no longer detect noise in this space.
Curious.
The portal continues to grow until it's as big as like a wardrobe mirror, as big as a door. And in it, you see what just looks like smooth, like you can see that something is on the other side of it, and what looks on the other side of it is like this plane of smooth glass. It looks kind of frosted over. You see like some kind of precipitation falling, like you're not sure if it's like snow or like, I don't know, paper or confetti. It doesn't look like snow, but it's the only thing that makes sense in your head that falls in this kind of presumably randomly uniform way. But it
Mm-hmm.
looks very soft, it looks very flat, it looks very gentle. And when it touches that like floor of glass, you don't see it. It doesn't frost anything up very much or melt or anything like that. And you can see like the vaguest shapes of other people, of what look like humanoids on that on the other side of that space, but you can't tell if you're seeing like shadows of something moving from another space, or you're just seeing those people very, very poorly, as if through fog. And that happens for a bit. Um, and then, uh, like, one of your noise machines starts slowly winding down. Not because it doesn't have power, but because it was calibrated to gather a certain amount of information for
Right.
a certain amount of time and document it as clearly as possible.
Right. And that time is up.
And it starts giving you a computer readout of the findings that it's discovered.
Mm.
And when you look at it, its data presumes that if this is a portal that functions on the exact same parameters as a noise portal, then it leads to a place that you are capable of physically controlling,
Ooh.
and that like the numerical values of that data itself implies that the material of the portal itself is not as volatile as a noise portal. That is, that it poses less of a risk than general noise things do. That this is, for lack of a better way of describing it, a good portal.
Oh.
It also gathers readings on the other noise anomalies in the space, and the fact that it determined that that portal closed those ones before they would open.
Huh. This is all very valuable. Okay.
As you read that, you get a ping on your phone.
I take. I think it takes me a second to register that I get a ping because I'm busy like reading through all this, and I think my phone like does the second notification, and I'm like, oh okay, what's up? I take a look.
It's 2 messages from Ace Fan.
Oh, Ace fan. Hey buddy.
Sent just to you. The
Okay.
first says, I see you found something interesting. And an exclamation point emoji.
Okay.
That's how serious that message was. And then the next message goes, you may want to make portable versions of those machines. Look out for further messages. And he sends a message immediately after that, which is just the evil eye emoji.
Ooh. Huh. A warning, but about what?
And while we note that, we fade to the next morning, where we meet Alice Ishikawa. Alice, how many days have you been in Sonata 6 so far?
Probably about 1.5. She's still jet lagged.
Ah, so I take it then that you're probably either at the place where you're staying, or if you go out, you're going out somewhere relatively close, nearby.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. How would you like to be at the nearby coffee shop?
Sounds good.
Okay. So, 6 blocks away from your place, but your cousin like walks you over to that place. There is a combination coffee shop, flower shop, and bookstore called Wake Up and Smell. Um, that your cousin, who we don't have a name for yet, would you like to name your male cousin?
Makoto.
Ah, so Makoto brings you to this coffee shop. Says they have the greatest coffee anywhere in the district, which is like a particularly strong sign to you because you know that he doesn't like coffee.
Yeah, Makoto just likes sugar and syrup
Yeah, he
and
just
milk.
just strong sweet milk. That's all he prefers. Um, and he brings you to this coffee shop. He orders like a tall black tea, and you see him put like 8 spoons of brown sugar in it.
Mhm.
Uh, he asks you what you want. You order a coffee. And he says, "So have you thought about what you want to do now that you're not home anymore?"
Alice has been very deliberately avoiding thinking about this. So she chews her lip and then she says, "Can we pretend it's not happening? Can we please, like, pretend this isn't happening?"
I mean, it's happening a lot. It's kind of very strongly happening. It's kind of vividly happening. It's unavoidably. It's all happening all at once. At some point, we have to talk about some part of it. I let you. I let you. I let you come. I let you come home and not ask it. I gave you a night. I said nothing about it. I said you're welcome to stay here. No questions asked. And I'm still not asking any questions about that arrangement. I just want to know. You know, now that we've discovered that maybe being a star isn't what it's cracked up to be, what's the next plan?
Are you going to tell me you told me so? Because if you tell me you told me so, I'm leaving. I really am.
I have no intention of saying those words aloud. I have, however, prepared post-it notes for you to discover at the apartment at your leisure. Um,
Alice puts her face in her hands, but you can just barely hear her say, "This is why I called you and not your mom."
eh, and I know what she would have done too, which is why I'm kind of glad that you didn't. Um, she didn't have a heart. She didn't have a good time doing that kind of thing either, and she's been very bitter about it. And the reason why I'm asking these questions is because I don't. God, am I gonna say that word? Am I gonna say that sentence aloud? I don't want you to turn into your mother.
I I don't think we need to worry about that. I really don't. For one thing, my mother has much, much better hair.
This is true. I know a guy, by the way. He
No,
does.
no, no. No more guys. I'm One of the things I'm very, very done with right now is letting people do things at me. No more. No more hair. No more makeup that I'm not doing myself. No more stupid costumes. Do you know how tired I am of people touching me and playing dress up on me?
I can only imagine.
It is like they are physically forcing you to be a toddler again sometimes.
Hmm.
So, just for now, I want to pick out my own clothes, I want to brush my own hair, and I want to eat things that I chose without anybody talking to me about calories or putting an Instagram filter on a picture of the food before I put it on in my social media, and then I only am allowed to finish half of it anyway.
That's fair. Okay.
And Alice holds up her coffee and she says, "Look, I put 3 sugars in this, and I'm going to drink the whole thing, and then I might have another."
And I take it you're doing that to spite exactly one person in particular?
Oh no. No. She's doing it to spite like 12 people.
Nice.
Because that's not just a production problem. She's from a group. So it's production, it's costuming, it's hair and makeup, and it is the rest of the idol group. Because when you're in a little group, enforcing peer pressure on each other to make sure that none of you break the rules. Yay! Your personal panopticon! I hate it.
Yeah, it's kind of not ideal. Um, so Makoto lifts his cup of tea sugar and goes, "To upsetting dozens of people."
Yay!
And you all just drink in silence for a little bit, and then he looks at his watch. Give me either a study or a survey roll. You're either trying to study Makoto or trying to study the rest of the coffee shop that you're in.
Is survey the thing that is now called observe?
It might be. So many things
You're
happen on
blazing
that
at
sheet.
me again, yes.
So many things are happening on that sheet. I'm so sorry. Yes.
Yes. I have 2 dots in that.
Right. So what do you, I blanked out for a moment. You're gonna roll survey.
Yes.
Okay. Your position is controlled. Your effect is limited. So you'll be rolling a d12 or a d20 plus 4.
Let's see. I'll take the 20.
Okay, go big or go home.
That is a 12.
12 is decent enough for this, I imagine. Right. So because you surveyed, right?
Yes.
Right. So you are studying the room, and this is when you notice it becomes kind of uniquely obvious to you after a point that it seems like every other person who is in this coffee shop right now is either not ordering something, not eating or drinking what they ordered, or not actively reading the book or the computer in front of them. But they all seem to be putting on a very good show of attempting to do so. You know for a fact that either there are fans who came here because you are here, or there are people who came here, realized that you were here, and started freaking out and lost the ability to continue being human. How does that make you feel in this
Here's a
moment?
setting thing. Is there an anime convention this weekend in town?
Um, one just ended, one is about to begin, and there's another one that follows it. The very next weekend. The one that is about to begin is literally on this block.
That's why.
You
When
can very
she is-
idly
what-
notice that
Yeah.
some of those folks like have like stickers for groups that were not yours. Some of them have your
Mhm.
group sticker. What is the name of your group, by the way?
Luna Trigger.
Nice.
We're rolling with it. We're rolling with it.
I love that. That is a joke that I'm pretty sure only me and Iori get. But one of these days we're gonna make that even juicier for the rest of you. But so yeah, so some people have some Luna Trigger stickers on their backpack or on their sneakers or on their jackets. Some other people have some other idol group stickers or just like run of the mill anime things. All of them, you can get the impression that a good set of people here know who you are.
Which is terrible. Alice doesn't usually get recognized when she is stateside unless she's in a place with a huge Asian community or a convention is going on and all the weebs have descended upon the neighborhood. So she was really kind of hoping that it wasn't going to be a convention season.
Yeah. It's kind of you're at the point where it's just kind of conventions all the way down until just before Christmas. Yeah. So you notice that, and I would like you to give me a 1d20 roll.
Another 12.
Okay. There is this like brief moment where just like being in this space and knowing that you're being observed feels very icky and is like on the verge of troubling you very deeply. But you just take a sip of your coffee and you're fine again. You're grounded. And then were you gonna say something?
Alice gets up and goes back to the counter and she buys a goddamn cinnamon roll.
Okay, would you
And she is going to take that back to her table and she is going to eat the entire thing in front of these people.
Okay. The barista at the counter gives you 2 cinnamon rolls, not 1.
Brilliant. Then Makoto gets one too.
Give me another survey roll.
Let's see if the D12 likes
Your
me any
position
better.
is risky and your effect is limited. No, your effect is standard.
Okay. Will that still be 1 die?
Yeah, you D12 or D20 plus 4.
Okay. I'm gonna see if the D12 likes me. 16.
Okay, you are almost preternaturally aware of the fact that the moment that you turned from the counter with a plate with 2 cinnamon rolls, dozens of people are very obviously taking photos of you. All of their flash is off, all of their sound is off, you know they're taking pictures. You don't even know where some of these people's phones are or where their hands are, but you know that they're taking pictures. It's very upsetting.
This is also really one of the things that Alice hates about America. Cell phones sold in America, or what used to be America, don't make the shutter sound when they're taking pictures.
Yep.
So it's a lot easier for people over here to do creep shots.
It's very
It's
upsetting. Oh my
gross.
god. So you come back to the table, and Makoto takes one of the cinnamon rolls off the plate immediately and goes, "I'm gonna have to take this to go. I need to dip out a little bit, but I would I would say that I think that you should stick around. You don't know a lot of other places in this area. You know how to get back to the apartment. You have a spare key. Anything that you
Mhm.
need, you should be fine. You're not in a hurry to do a thing, but I definitely need to head out very briefly.
Yeah.
You're okay? And you'll call me if
It's
you need
not like my
anything?
parents are going to call.
If, at this point, I am not worried about our parents. You're not gonna get in trouble, right?
Now that I am back in the jurisdiction where I'm an adult, I hope not.
Okay. Um, and he takes his cinnamon roll. He takes his incredibly sweet tea. Nods to you and leaves. And it's just you in this room full of obviously people who are observing you, and then um give me another survey roll.
Oh dear.
Your position is risky and your effect is standard.
That will be a 9.
Hmm. Right. Because it's a 9, give me a roll 1d20 for me.
Sorry for all those crunchy keyboard noises, everyone. That's a 3.
Nice, cool. So, this is why you don't notice the thing that you will eventually notice immediately. You didn't notice it because, very briefly, you found yourself just kind of idly going back to the past. You are remembering, like, long idle flashes of one of the last meet and greet events that you did as a member of Luna Trigger. The entire group at this very long table, each of you have like a foot and a half of table space dedicated solely to you, and everybody is like swarming to get autographs and ask weird questions and buy photos, buy uh individual single albums, singles that are like 2 or 3 members of the group or the whole group, or like a cover that some of you did of this one song. At this point, you are still relatively like popular enough that the crowd at your table is quite huge. Um, like dozens of teenagers, 20 somethings, quite a bit of older people. Um, and while you're there, signing stuff and answering people's questions and being as kind and as deferent as possible, a young girl comes up, um, probably 14 or 15 years old. She looks the age that you would have been when you first auditioned, when you like were very very early starting out. And she looks to you, already has like 2 fists full of dozens of posters and postcards and stuff of you and a handful of other performers. All of them are already signed. She didn't come to get anything signed. She just came here to look you dead in the eye and say, "You inspire me." One of these days, I want to be just like you.
I think the girl's wearing one of those glow stick bracelets, right?
Mm-hmm.
What color is it lit up right now?
Right now, it is purple.
Alice leans over and points at. She leans across the table and points at the bracelet and says, "May I?"
And like active,
And-
like eagerly, like shoves her hand towards you.
She taps the button on the bracelet to cycle the glow until it's blue. And then she says, "Then remember, my image color's blue."
I won't forget it, Alice. Thanks so much. I think that this is so cool. I love being here. I love knowing that, you know, we can do cool things. We can make cool art and people can like it.
What section are you sitting in?
Front row.
Great. That means I'll be able to see you from the stage.
And you continue like seeing flashes of the rest of that day, and then you flash to a performance. You can't recall which performance this was at this point. You've done so many like shows from that night up to now, and you're all going through some of your biggest numbers. Everyone's like loving everything about it. And then there's this moment when you look to the front row. Not as part of the memory itself, but just your brain doing this thing of is this the same night that I was thinking of? Is this when this happened? And you look forward and you see this girl sitting there, very, very happy, like uh glow stick in each hand, waving very eagerly just for Alice Ishikawa. And then at some point, she just stops, sits down. She takes them off. The people sitting to the left and right of her take off their glow sticks as well. That kind of slowly spreads out until it envelops the entire length of that section. It moves almost as if it's not the lights themselves that are going out, but as if some like shadow is like spread over this section of the audience. And you can see all of these people who are looking up at you, totally expressionless. And then you turn to your fellow performers on stage. And they are still dancing and still singing. But you can hear, like, whenever someone is not actively singing, you can hear them whisper to you, "You shouldn't be here." You turn to another performer, they say the exact same thing. You turn back to the audience has no light in it whatsoever. Everyone is sitting perfectly still. You can hear the sound of your fellow performers on stage singing throughout the space with nothing interfering with that sound. And then you hear someone snap their fingers. Miss Ishikawa? And you come to, and you are still in the coffee shop.
Who is this person who has decided to talk to me? How dare they?
So, this very tall, almost dangerously beautiful, red-headed, dark-skinned woman in a ruby red pantsuit is already sitting in the seat where Makoto was sitting. Just decided while you were going through it that she'd just sit. And says, "Are you all right?"
I don't know who you are, but I think you should leave me alone.
That's fair. I won't take up too much more of your time. You don't even have to.
You're
think
right. You're right. You won't. Alice gets up and goes outside. There's a park near here. She is going to sit in the sun on the grass without an umbrella. Without an umbrella! Maybe she didn't even put on SPF this morning.
Oh Lord. Oh God.
Such small petty rebellions, but they feel so good.
I want you to roll 1d12 for me.
Yes, yes. That's a 9.
Okay. Right. So when you get up from the table and you leave, this woman gets up and just says, "This isn't about me, but you will get a message soon, and when it happens, don't worry about it." And then she just lets you leave.
Mm-hmm. Alice has turned off her DMs.
Nice. Cool. So you go to the park. You sit. The park is at this moment in time, mostly because of school, mostly because you're in a relatively quiet suburban area of the Hex. It's just you and this park, and like, it's, you know, when you sit in a park alone in the day, and it's actually more frightening than sitting in that same park at night, because this is unbelievably quiet. There, like, you don't even hear cars on the streets nearby. It's just you and this park. That's how quiet it is. And you just get to dwell in that quiet for a time, because that's perhaps like the most like genuine undisturbed quiet that you've had in some time. What do you do in this moment of perfect quiet?
Alice is remembering how to sit with herself because she's really sort of forgotten that she's spent so much time in basically a panopticon. They didn't want to risk her getting freckles or a tan, so she's been kept out of the sun. She's been getting her vitamin D from pills for ages. She's forgotten what it feels like to be making her own, and it's kind of amazing. Like, she has spent a very long time without anything resembling mindfulness or paying attention to herself in a non-critical way. So she is sort of sitting there shutting down all the bad thoughts as they pop up, because she is definitely feeling like unhappy cinnamon roll remorse and stuff. She wonders if maybe she is a little freaked out because she had more sugar than she's had in a while. And she's like letting those thoughts come up and then dismissing them like, nope, it's just because you forgot how to be a person. It's because you were actively trained to stop being a person. You're okay. And she is really struggling with that because her first impulse is to criticize herself. So I think she's actually kind of having a really hard time with how it feels to force herself to treat herself compassionately.
Okay. I would like you to give me a 2d12
2 die
roll.
fortune roll.
Yes, 2d12.
That's a 17.
Right, so that's an 8 and a 9. Okay, both of those are all right. So you struggle for a good while. Like, the weird thing about being in a perfectly quiet place is that there is a part of one's brain that goes looking for noise, and at the one moment that you decide you want to be in perfect quiet, it's suddenly going to find like a cicada somewhere and just kind of throw that off. And you are noticing that now. You are noticing like people washing clothes in one home nearby, and you're noticing someone singing very badly in another apartment nearby, and you're noticing some children playing, and you're noticing someone getting in an argument, and you start very, very slowly cycling all of that sound out of your brain so you can focus just on yourself. And for a brief moment, you finally get to that point where it's just you in your head, not being disturbed or interrupted by anything. You feel the sun on your face. You feel the blades of grass underneath your elbows and your hands. You sit in that feeling for a bit, and it feels really, really nice to just be in a place where the sensations that you're experiencing are not being manufactured for you.
You know, I'm really glad I rolled well on this one, because Alice isn't going to therapy for a while. She just came back to the country she doesn't have health insurance in.
Yeah, things going pretty hard. Which is saying a lot. So you are in this bubble of your own time, your own moment. Perfectly quiet, perfectly still. Ava, Nakhmat, and River all get 3 messages from Ace-Fan at this exact point in time in very quick succession. Yo, so I know that this is perhaps the most urgent message that I've ever sent you all in quite some time, but does any one of you know what Alice Ishikawa looks like? Because something very urgent is going down in the food district, and you might need to respond. Back at Alice's scene, while you are sitting very quietly by yourself, your phone on silent, DMs off, you are getting dozens of double exclamation point emoji pings from someone on Discord that you have never met. And while your eyes are closed and you are experiencing this sensation purely by yourself, a small black hole is opening behind the jungle gym of this park and is growing as wide as a mirror right now, and rotten apples are falling out of it, and the apples are actively moving toward you. And that's where we're going to close this session. So yeah, I wanted you to notice things, and I'm very glad that you didn't want to notice things, because now our next session is going to be quite a doozy.
Oh, to hell with noticing things.
Oh my god, I love this so very much. Thank you all so very much for joining me yet again for a session of Soundclash Clampdown. I've missed playing with you all. This was a lot of fun. How did you like tonight's session, folks?
I'm so fucking hyped. I'm so hyped to be back, y'all.
Yo,
Same. I'm hyped for our characters to interact with Alice.
Yes.
I am extremely excited to be here.
Yes, I am very excited to have like a J-pop idol as a member of the group. Means that we're going to get into so much of the other parts of the weirdness of the music industry that was part of the reason why I wrote this game. And I'm very excited to see where that goes next. But first, we need to deal with that noise anomaly at some later point, which will happen very soon, I guess. But until that happens, I'm going to ask each of you to please tell all the lovely people in chat who you are, what you do, and where people can find you, starting with Victor.
Hey guys, I'm Victor. I use he and they pronouns. You can find my lovely voice on 2 podcasts right now. Forgotten Eras, which is an interstitial actual play podcast. Currently, I help to facilitate a For the Honor 5-part little series that is on the main feed, and honestly, it's a doozy. It's really fun, and I really enjoy it. And we use games from my expansion for the Honor Alliance of Recreation, which is available on my itch page. Please buy it. Thank you.
Nice.
I'm also on Beholder to No One podcast, their current D&D campaign. That's the word. Arc. Morning Blues. Starting for episode 5. I play a Hyena Shifter Cleric, and I am always hilarious. Thank you. That's it, for real.
Thank you, and let me just make sure to link your itch so folks can find that cool thing. I have yet to read the thing, but from your discussions about that for the honor piece of content, I'm really excited to see more about that because For the Honor is generally rad. So yeah, thank you. Next, Amber.
Hello, I'm Amaraz. You can find me on Twitter at Amaraz. That's really it. Like I said, been moving, so don't have a lot going on specifically right now, but glad to be back, ready to do some shenanigans. And I've been having a normal one, as you can see, just doing some science. I'm very excited to find out that everyone else has not been.
It's going to be absolutely delightful, I'm sure.
Yeah, oh, here's my science, everyone. So here's my depression cave. Here's the interview I did where I lambasted the cops. Oh, here's the new person. It's like, wait.
Yeah?
What if these are not like the others? Anyways, goodbye.
That next session is going to be a lot of fun. But yes, next, Katie.
Hello, everyone. I've been Katie Chin. River is fine. And if you want to hear more of my voice, you can listen to the Valence podcast, an urban fantasy audio drama where I voice Grace Chen, a government bureaucrat doing her best, trying to take care of all of these gay people under her employ. They're great. Let's see. Other things. I mean, I'm mostly just in school right now, so I have a solo show no one's ever going to see called AOK, running parallel to the confusing world of relationships and finding love, the discovery and acceptance of my aromantic asexuality, an identity that the world at large doesn't know exists. I just think I made a really good blurb there, so I decided to say it out loud. And if you want to catch the one game I've ever made, you can go on macaronix.itch.io, where I have But Dracula, a clown and vampire game where only the great clown Pagliacci can chase the vampire away. And the thing is, you are the great clown Pagliacci. Catch me on my socials at Katie Peak on Twitter. And that's everything for me. Thank you very much.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh my god, I have to see that now. God damn it.
It's a delight. I literally cried watching it from laughter.
That's gonna be brilliant. And last but not least, Iori.
Kusano Iori, class of 2017 Clarion West, they, them pronouns. Find me at kusanoiori.com or on Twitter at Iori Kusano. You can also find me on Righteous Kicks, sometimes on Skiffy and Fanty, guest spot on Atcast just dropped today, and playing in Blades in the Dark, Case of the Cindered Seal. You know what? Basically, I am riding in the sidecar of Brandon's proverbial motorcycle. Where Brandon goes, you have a decent chance of finding me too.
That works for me. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this quite a bit. I'm very glad that you can be a part of this crew now. I'm very sorry because I know that it's definitely early in the morning, Japan Standard Time, but I'm very glad that you could be a part of the crew. Um, as for me, I'm Brandon O'Brien. You can find me on the internet, on Twitter at The Rising Tides. That's Tithes. Um, you can also find me on Skiffy and Fanty at Speculate, where I co host with Greg and Michael R. Underwood. And on this channel on a regular basis, because so many things happen on Sundays that are solely my responsibility. With that in mind, I would like to let everybody know that December is a lot. Because next week Sunday is the next episode of Bag of Giving, which will be a game of Band of Blades being GM'd by Michael R. Underwood, which is going to be very, very cool, and I hope that you support that endeavor as much as possible, because Bag of Giving is doing a lot of very cool work. And the other 3 Sundays in December are one non-holiday day, the day that Worldcon is also happening, and Boxing Day. So it will be very difficult for us to do things this December. But as soon as we can confirm our dates for the next session of Soundclash the Clampdown, that will be I will let you know about those dates on Twitter. And Greg will let you know on Discord and everywhere else. So please stay tuned to find out more information about it. We will have more of Soundclash Clampdown for you very, very soon. But until then, I hope that you stick around. So I am going to press some buttons. But first, I would like to ask you all to please say goodbye to all of these lovely people in chat.
Bye.
As I briefly fade away for a bit. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do, Zoom. What are you doing? Keep waving, I'll press the button just now. As I move over here, to greet all of you lovely people once again, thank you so very much for joining us for tonight's session of Soundclash the Clampdown. This was a lot of fun. I'm very glad that we could get back into it after months of hiatus. It's been I'm very excited to be able to share this game with you again. There are things that I'm still trying to do mechanically about how the game works. I figured out a brief number of very cool ideas that I think that you all will enjoy. But those you will see and hear more about those things as we get closer to those mechanics bearing out in play. I'm very excited that Yuri is a part of the crew now. I'm very excited that we get to do a story about all of the weird other things than the clash that can also take place in this space. And I'm very excited to see what some of that will look like as a result. So, thank you so very much, first and foremost, to Greg, to Arvan Elron, for giving me the opportunity to be on this channel in the first place. I'm very grateful that you all give me the opportunity to share this thing that I've been making that is still being held together by duct tape and glue. I'm very excited to share more about it as we continue. So thank you so very much, Greg, for giving me the opportunity to be in this space. And thank you, Arudinel, for pointing out my itch.io store, where you can find my Blades in the Dark crew sheet for the Fugitives, as well as other cool things that I've made. So if you want to play any of my other smaller games, or even read some of my poetry if you want to, you can definitely check that out. Also, shout out to our mods, Arudinel, Trifidi Mats, and Rock God. Thank you so very much for holding it down in the chat so this lovely community can do cool things without being bombarded by spam bots, as Greg has been eagerly clearing out, just sweeping all of these fake accounts out of the chat. thank you so very much for being, as we regularly say, the best mods in the business. And I hope that you enjoyed tonight's show as well. And thank you so very much to everyone else that passed through, including Amaraz, Critwitch, Determinology Z, Galadriel Bot, Garlic Tofu, Macaroni TX, Mrs. Dunsill, Prince Justin, Shanuala, Spike Trap Claire, The Sparkly Wallflower, and I still see VNK and Waptart here, so I'm still gonna call their names. Oh my god, spam bots are endless. At this point, I have given up on the assumption that somebody is real or not real on Twitch. So it's fine by me if they were here, and I hope that if someone was actively watching the thing, that they at least enjoyed it. So thank you so very much for passing through. And enjoying tonight's session of Soundclash the Clampdown. As previously mentioned, Sundays in December are kind of crowded, but as soon as I know what's happening in December in terms of either Soundclash or Blazing the Dark, the Case of the Sinded Seal, in terms of the one Sunday that I think that will be easily available for everyone, I will let everyone know. As for the rest of the calendar, of course, let me see what wonderful things Arvan Elron has in store for you for the rest of this week. There will be no content on Monday, of course, unfortunately. That means that you get to observe other things. But on Tuesday, at noon EST, I see that they will be having the Patreon-fueled chat shows in Game of the Month, Heroes of Might and Magic 3, which looks like it's going to be a great deal of fun. And at 4 EST is Pen and Pixels Talisman Adventures on GOG.com. So if you want to check out those lovely things that take place on Tuesday, that will definitely be there for you on Tuesday. No content on Wednesday, the 1st of December. We will suddenly be in a new month, clearing the rest of the year very quickly, unfortunately. Or fortunately, if you wanted the year 2021 to end. I'm sure some of you are in that boat. I don't blame you. And no content on the 2nd of December as well. But on Friday, if I'm not mistaken, we'll be returning to Esper Genesis that evening. So that will be a lot of fun. And on Saturday, of course, is more Metroid Dread, which I'm sure that Arv has been having a great deal of enjoyment playing. So that's going to be cool. And then, as previously mentioned, next week Sunday, December the 5th, is Bag of Giving, Court of Blades, GM'd by Michael R. Underwood. So if you want to support Bag of Giving, I definitely recommend passing through, participating in the giveaways, and also giving freely of those of what you can to those organizations wherever possible in general would be very helpful. Very tentative, but looks promising for us Source on Friday. And yes, Metroid Dread is so. Of course, I'm glad that you're enjoying it because I'm enjoying watching you play it. But as with all of that, it is now getting late. Everyone should go back to having their wonderful Sunday evenings. So I will bid you all adieu. So I hope that you have a wonderful night. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope that December, as we enter into it, is a lively and beautiful one for all of us as we barrel very rapidly towards the Christmas season. And as always, I hope that you keep the frequency in your heart. I will see you all very, very soon. But until then, have a wonderful evening. Bye.